It was Jeff Andretti that got...
Well, yeah, he's all over the goddamn track. You don't know where the hell he's going.
And it was suspension problem that...
Yeah, I kept from knocking him through the goddamn wall. I'm tired of this shit. Got people out there that shouldn't even be in the goddamn race car.
We've seen some amazing things, but that, my friends, is something we've never seen.
Brandon Cruz wants advice.
Brandon Cruz wants advice.
Brandon wants advice.
Brandon Cruz wants advice. You just locked yourself into the playoffs.
Nice.
Got it.
Talk with old Brandon Cruz wants advice.
Completely speechless, to say the least.
Man, I am honestly so baffled by that decision. Brandon Cruz wants advice. It's Brandon wants advice.
Green flag in the air. Brandon Cruz wants advice to the front.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Brandon Cruz Daily Fantasy Podcast, and I will be covering the Coca Cola 600 in this one. Ladies and gentlemen, first off, go check out Burnout Avenue. Check out the website. One, because that's where my article is. Second, because Zach and Josh over there make a fantastic podcast every Monday, reviewing the race, talking about the storylines that you may or may not have heard of either during the race or after the race, leading into next week, all that great stuff. Go check that out. And wow, what an entertaining Xfinity Series broadcast that was. I loved the bickering like a married couple that Clint and Harvick were doing to their younger kids like Bubba and Ryan and Eric Jones. That was hilarious. And I don't think I've ever been a part of a race where I had like 4 or 5 guys DNF, and I still cashed in some lineups. So that was insane because I had Bell, I had Chad Fitchum, Timmy Hill, Mason Diaz, John Hunter Nemechek. Like it was a whirlwind of emotions. It was fantastic, and thank God tomorrow is the greatest day in motorsports. We got the F1 race at Monaco, the IndyCar race at Indianapolis, the Indy 500. You know, that's about the only one I really care about. The last good IndyCar race was Auto Club. You know, the last Auto Club race they did. But I always do watch the IndyCar race, and I care more about that one than this Coca Cola 600. Just the history around that. I just love that race. And last year we got to see the greatest moment in IndyCar history, especially Indy 500 history. No, not the Mears family dominating, not AJ Foyt winning crap load. No, it's Danica Patrick wrecking out of turn 2. Thank God we saw Danica Patrick wreck in her final race. Her final 2 races, really. Just fuck Danica Patrick. She's a dumb idiot. Hey, I can't stand her. Anyway, before I get into the history, let's go over why everyone was like, oh, the All-Star race was great. Well, do you know why it was great? Because it was 85 laps, nothing but restarts. They had nothing really to race for other than winning. So, of course, you're going to see 4-wide racing. The Coca Cola 600, it's a marathon race, okay? It's a long race. It's going to be single file. It's not going to be the door-to-door bang that we saw at the All-Star race, at least not in the beginning. You know, it might get there at the end, but you're not going to see Bubba Wallace squeezing people, cutting down people's tires on lap 20 of this race. If you guys want to see good racing in a short distance, go watch dirt track racing. Go to your local dirt track. Go do that. We run 30-lap mains. Pretty much every class. You get to see as much racing action as you want. Okay, so first off, looking at history, I'm bringing a good amount of stats into this one, ladies and gentlemen, because some people say I don't talk about stats enough, and you know, for a 1-year anniversary like this video is, I got to bring stats. I know we're 3 minutes in, so looking at the last 5 races, I'm looking at 3 things, or 4 things mainly. I'm looking at who the top 10 drivers were in said races, and where they finished, where they started, how many cars were on the lead lap at the end of the race, how many were 1 lap down, and how many cars DNF. So looking at the 2016 Coca Cola 600, I'm going to go over just the drivers, where they were. I'm not going to say, I mean, Truex finished first, Kevin Harvick second. That's going to get boring. So I'm just going to go down the names. These are the top 10s that I'm going to go over, where they started and why this is important. So here, top 10 in the 2016 was Truex, Harvick, Johnson, Hamlin, Keselowski, Kurt Busch, Matt Kenseth, Chase Elliott, Joey Logano, and the 31 car. I just went blank. I'm pretty sure that was Newman in 2016. So the reason why this is important, this is where Truex dominated. He led 392 laps. He had the car that night. So he started first. Harvick finished second. He started eighth. Jimmy Johnson finished seventh, or started seventh. He finished third. Hamlin started fourth, finished fifth. Keselowski started fifth, finished fifth. And then this is where it gets a bit interesting. You see the field starting to shuffle here. So Kurt Busch started 13th. He finished 6th. Matt Kenseth started 27th in the back. Chase Elliott started 12th. The 22 started 2nd, and Ryan Newman started 14th. There was 15 people on the lead lap at the end of this race. 19th, like up to the 19th position, were one lap down. So 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th were one lap down. And there's 2 DNFs. If you guys remember, this was a domination from Truex, but it was a pretty boring race. Not a whole lot of things happening there. I'm just bringing this up to show you how these races have changed over the years. So the 2016 fall race, Jimmy Johnson won it. He led 155 laps, and then you had Matt Kenseth, Casey Kane, Ryan Newman, Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch, Keselowski, Kurt Busch, Tony Stewart, and Jamie McMurray. Now here, Jimmy Johnson started 11th, won the race. Matt Kenseth started 17th, finished 2nd. Casey Kane started 12th, finished 3rd. Ryan Newman started 21st, finished 4th. Kyle Larson started 25th, finished 5th. Kyle Busch started 4th, finished 6th. Keselowski started 20th. Kurt Busch started 23rd. Tony Stewart started 5th. And Jay McMurray started 16th. So you can already see between these two races, when one guy doesn't dominate and doesn't just go green, you're going to see some things going on. And here we had some major guys either have engine failures or wreck and things of that nature. So we had 19 guys left on the lead lap there. 22nd ended up being one lap down, and then we had 10 drivers actually DNF in this race. Moving on to the 2017, and I got to open my little notebook here because I read everything down. 2017 Coca Cola 600. This is the one where Dylan won it on fuel mileage. I'm not even worried about his laps because he went on fuel mileage. Just straight up, I can't predict fuel mileage. No one can. Kyle Busch finished 2nd. Martin Truex Jr. finished 3rd. Matt Kenseth finished 4th. Denny Hamlin finished 5th. Kurt Busch, my bad. Matt Kenseth finished 4th. Denny Hamlin, Kurt Busch, Eric Jones in the 77 car, Kevin Harvick, Ryan Newman, and then the 88 of, I'm pretty sure that was Bowman back then. Yeah, but I don't even fucking care. Who cares? It's the 88 car. Anyway, Dylan won that on fuel mileage. He started 22nd. Other notables here, pretty much this is a top 10 starting position all the way down to 9th, where you yet again get Ryan Newman starting 17th, and then you had the 88 car starting 19th. So you can see that typically when it's not wild, when it's not crazy, I mean obviously when it's not crazy, but typically if you start in the top 10, you're going to finish there. 17 guys left on the lead lap. 22nd, one lap down, 8 cars DNF'd in this one. 2017 fall, it's Truex, pretty sure I'm pretty sure that was Elliott in 24 car then. Yeah, because he finished 2nd. Okay, yeah, so it's Truex, Elliott, Harvick, Hamlin, Jamie McMurray, Daniel Suarez, Jimmy Johnson, Ryan Blaney, Casey Kane, and then Kyle Larson here, starting positions for 1 through 10th, 17th, 7th, 3rd, 1st, 18th, 14th, 25th, 15th, 9th, and 10th. 24 cars on the lead lap. Now this is when they brought stages in here, so I believe it was 2017 when they started that. Either way, but yeah, when Truex won it, there was no stages. Yeah, okay, yeah, so 2017, the first year with stages in it. So here you can see the shift in how many cars are on the lead lap here. So you have 24 cars on the lead lap, 25 cars one lap down, 22nd was 2 laps down, all the way down to 29th, so pretty much just then, like, every car was 1 lap down past that, only because since there's stages, so like, Jeffrey Earnhardt, for example, would just keep on getting lapped, because every time he'd get lapped, and then we have a stage in, then he'd be the first one lapped again, so you don't see as many cars lapped there as you did earlier. Then you go to last year's Coca Cola 600, where Kyle Busch led 377 laps. He dominated it. And then you had Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski, Jimmy Johnson, Jamie McMurray, Kyle Larson, Kurt Busch, Alex Bowman, and Stenhouse. Yeah. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's correct. And then so obviously Kyle Busch dominated. He showed fast times in practice there. He started first, but everyone else started outside their starting positions other than Hamlin and Keselowski. So for example, Truex finished second, started 15th. He knows this track. They know this track. Everyone knows that. Hamlin started third, finished third. Keselowski started fifth, finished fourth. And then Jimmy Johnson on strategy came up, finished sixth, started 23rd. Jay McMurray finished sixth and started 7th. Kyle Larson started 11th. Kurt Busch started 16th. Alex Bowman started 27th, and Stenhouse started 13th. So you can see with when the stages get there, you have more leniency in where they're going to finish. The only reason I'm saying this is because it is vastly important for how these cars are qualifying this weekend. Some stats that I want to give out. So first winner, Jolie Johnson. You know, that's just a fun stat. I don't give a fuck. No one gives a flying shit about fun stats, gentlemen. Let's get into the actual stats that matter. It's best average finish, minimum of 3 starts in the field starting tomorrow. You got Daniel Suarez with the best average finish out of his career starts. And you got Hamlin, Jimmy Johnson, Joey Logano, Eric Jones, Brad Keselowski, Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, and then Jay McMurray, even though Jamie is not in this race. He's only in this list because he started this year. So why did I go over the past 10 finishers last year? It is to show you who has the best average finishes here and why they have the best average finishes here. Daniel Suarez' average finish is 10.7, Hamlin 12.1, Jimmy Johnson 12.3, Logano 13.1. Those are the guys under 13. The reason those guys are important because you kept hearing those names every time I went over the last races, whether we had stages, whether we were running a different package, whatever it was. These guys have the best average finishes, regardless of what it was. They were just good at this track. And then Kyle Busch is quote unquote the best driver here based on history from what we have right now. But let me just make sure. I gotta find some things very fast. I gotta go through here, out there, that's there. Here we go. Now I'm going through my notes that I have before I go down the starting grid, and we are 11 minutes into this, so I'm trying to hurry up. So pre-qualifying, obviously Kyle Busch was the favorite entering this week just because he's there. Before qualifying, the 2 and 22 were so slow. Like Penske, they're a bit slow. You know, that's what I was hearing. I don't know what's wrong with 22. And the 2 car, they're just slow. Anyway, post-qualifying. These are where we're getting into real good DFS notes right here, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, I heard from some people that Joey Gaze is a great punt. What are you smoking, dude? He's slow and he has no sponsor this weekend. You cannot believe that the 66 car is going to run the full 400 laps this week. There's no way you can think that. 53, if you have to go that far, I think the 53 would be the way to go. I really can't lean towards anything other than that for like just an ugly punt. Where did my qualifying go? Wait a minute. Oh, dude, it reset. Oh no. Okay, hold on. I am so sorry. I got to. Oh man, all my tabs just closed. I'm sorry about that. I just refreshed. Anyway, BJ McLeod, the 53 car, he's about the cheapest punt I would go. Like, if you're going to, that's like an I guess. Like, well, if we're picking a punt, we got to go to the bottom. BJ McLeod is probably the best there is. I would use Parker Kligerman if you need a quote-unquote punt, you know. If you want a real punt, these are your 3 guys that you need to look at. You got David Reagan, Corey LaJoie, and Bubba Wallace Jr. The reason I say these 3 guys is looking at the final 2 practices, which is really all we give a shit about. Reagan was 26th fastest in the second practice, and he was 13th fastest final practice. On the 10-lap averages, second practice he was 21st fastest. Final practice he was 19th quickest in final practice. And where does David Reagan start? He starts 31st. Corey LaJoie, he didn't run final practice. But he was 31st fastest in overall speed in second practice, 22nd fastest in long run speed. Where does Corey LaJoie start? 30th. That's not too bad for me. Bubba Wallace Jr., he was 17th fastest second practice, 27th fastest final practice. His 10-lap average in the second practice was 23rd. His 10-lap average in final practice was 27th, but Bubba Wallace starts 29th. Those are the only 3 guys that I see as actual punt plays. Because if you look at this lineup, ladies and gentlemen, Gaze, Hoft, Cody Ware, Reed Sorensen, I mean, these guys, you can't even use them in a 400 lap race. BJ McLeod would be the only one. Maybe Ross Chastain. I don't even know if he has a sponsor this weekend. I still got to check that and make sure. Then you got Parker Kligerman, a guy that I actually know will actually race through it. Bailey Curry, not even interested in that Rick Rare looking hunk of shit. And then you got Landon Castle. But Landon is just not showing the speed that we are looking for compared to the other punts. That's why I didn't list him in here. I don't see him as a real quote-unquote punt. Like he may be like 32nd at the end of this race if no one wrecks. That's where I see him going. You know, I don't see him really going anywhere else. He starts 32nd. I don't see much uptick for him compared to these other guys. What else do I have right here? This qualifying. I like this race a lot for DFS perspective, only because you have good guys throwing out this entire field. Notables that we're looking at right now: Larson starts 25th, Brad Keselowski starts 21st, Denny Hamlin 20th, Ryan Blaney 19th. Looking through the field, you can have studs throughout your lineup because studs are starting everywhere, and there's no real chalk this week. I mean, yes, there is chalk. You have Kyle Busch. Yes, you have Keselowski starting that far back. Yes, I mean, you have, who's another guy I was looking at? Where's the 19 car? Martin Truex Jr. starts 14th. Like, yeah, there's going to be chalk here and there, but you can mess around and actually have a good lineup. There's no distinct chalk anywhere in this field, which is very rare for DFS in general, much less anything. I mean, there's going to be chalk plays, but for NASCAR DFS, it's not too bad this weekend. So looking at guys that I like, obviously, I see anyone being played like 28 forward, because you have Ty Dillon. You can play Ty Dillon. You can play DiBenedetto. Probably won't play Matt Tiff. People are going to be playing Larson. People are going to be playing Ryan Preece, although he'll be a bit lower owned. McDowell, not going to use him. Chris Buescher, might use him if you just want to be different. Keselowski's going to gain ownership there. Denny Hamlin's going to gain ownership there. Ryan Blaney's going to gain ownership mainly because he's cheaper than Keselowski and he starts in the back. Ryan Newman keeps proving that he can be valuable starting 18th. Paul Menard. Now Paul's interesting. I don't think a lot of people are going to be on Paul Menard just because they're going to be going differently. So where are my low end guys that I think are going to be, or like who are the low end guys that I like? Or at least that aren't going to have like 30% ownership. I like Ryan Newman and Paul Menard so far. Continue going forward. Eric Jones might fall into that. Jimmy Johnson. I think Jimmy Johnson is in that category as well. Granted, yes, he does have a good history, and I just went over his average finish. Let me just pull it back up to reiterate what I just said. But Jimmy Johnson has his third best on average finishes with a 12.3 at this racetrack, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if that's really going to bring his ownership up or down because most people still think he's just washed up. Where is he in second practice? Second practice, 11th fastest. 10 lap averages. Jimmy Johnson didn't do anything second practice. How fast was he final practice? Jimmy Johnson was 25th fastest in final practice, and then on 10 lap averages he was, like I said, I just lost, this thing literally just closed as soon as I opened it, so I'm having to go through. He was 25th fastest, so Jimmy's not showing the speed. He is not showing the speed this week. The only thing that he has going for him is if people are looking at driver ratings or how they used to run at this track, and that's the only place that Jimmy Johnson looks good on. So if based on that case, based on how he's doing this weekend, he shouldn't have a lot of ownership. Speaking of history, a lot of people are gonna jump on Truex because he finishes well here. Bowman, I mean, he's had low ownership, but the sumbitch keeps finishing second. I don't know where the ownership's going to be on there. I'm going to have to see where other people talk about him before I choose to play him or not. I'd rather go with Chase Elliott, honestly. And Kurt Busch. Kurt Busch, I think he's cooled off because everyone was all over him because he kept starting in the rear this year. But Kurt Busch starts 11th this week. I'm going to add him to my list of people I think are going to be low owned, only because he starts 11th. Let's look at Kurt Busch's time right here. Second practice. Kurt Busch was 16th fastest second practice. On lap averages in that second practice, Kurt Busch was 7th fastest. Entering practice 3, Kurt Busch was... I'm talking a little too fast for my own good. He was 24th fastest final practice. Lap averages final practice. He was 16th fastest. That's not too bad for Kurt Busch. I think Kurt will go under the radar of most people this weekend. Then you got Daniel Hemrick. Not interested in him. Stenhouse. Oh man. I love GPP plays, but I don't know if I'm going to be wild enough to play Stenhouse starting 9th, man. If you want a guy who's going to be low owned that can actually finish in the top 10, Stenhouse would be the way to go. Not sure if I want to go down that field, but you can certainly do that. Clint Boyer, I have no problem starting him 14th, or starting him 8th. Same with Logano. Suarez, I'm not going to use, just because I think if any of the SHR guys are going to really be fast, it's going to be Harvick starting 5th or Eric Almirola starting 2nd. I'm not too big into Austin Dillon. Eric Almirola is interesting. This start could go one of two ways. They're gonna take the green flag. They're gonna be even down the back straightaway. Still gonna be even. Byron is either gonna get ahead of Eric Almirola entering turn 3 on the back straightaway, or they're still gonna be side by side entering turn 3. I think if they're side by side entering turn 3, I think Eric Almirola will get the lead. If Byron can clear Eric Almirola down the back straightaway on the first lap, William Byron will lead first couple laps, and then I'm more inclined to go Kyle Busch. If I think Eric Almirola is going to beat William Byron to the first lap on the start-finish line, or the first lap back, then I would go with Eric Almirola. I know that probably made no sense. Either way, I like Kyle Busch. I like Eric Almirola for an early leader. Not sure if he could win it, but I do like Kyle Busch in general. I like Kevin Harvick in general. Not too big into William Byron. Ladies and gentlemen, that is all the stats I have right now entering this week that I think are actually useful. Not some stupid ass fact like that happened. Like Humphrey Wheeler used to get random guys in the infield to do backflips or like blow stuff up. Like, no one cares, man. No one cares about that stuff. If you guys would like to keep supporting me, I know a lot of you guys don't do this, and that's why I'm just throwing it out there. Man, check out my Patreon. I know it was 22 minutes of this. Help me get it shorter. Help me put some things on the screen so you can just see it so I don't have to talk about it. Follow me on Twitter. Do you have any questions on these videos or anything like that, put them in the comments of this video. Message me on Twitter. Tweet at me. Do all that. I am more than willing to help you. But if you ask a stupid-ass question, like, don't be offended if I give you an answer. I had this one guy ask me about Chastain today. It's like, is Chastain good to go? Did they fix his electrical problems? Dude, I don't know. I'm in Lubbock, Texas right now. The race is in Charlotte, North Carolina. I have no clue if they're getting that fixed. They had 4 hours to fix it. Will Chastain get his car fixed? That was his thing. I have no idea. What kind of question is that? I can't give you any information. These are the type of people that like tweet at Bob Pockris when he's in the middle of his work. Be like, Bob, Rick Ware said they got a tire rub. What are they going to do about it? It's like, dude, he doesn't freaking know. Bob Pockris is not he's not Google for NASCAR. Like, go look at someone's Twitter who is actually involved in that team and see what they're saying. That's the best way you can get information right now. Either way, let's enjoy tomorrow. Go Team Penske in the Indy 500. That's about the only guys I'm rooting for. And I don't know half the people in that race, honestly. I don't know half the people. All I know is that a woman made it this year. She wasn't able to qualify. People say I give a lot of shit to women drivers, and I guess that's fair if you count women drivers as Natalie Decker and Danica Patrick. Then yeah, because I call them out and being terrible race car drivers. I'd like her to run good just for a change of pace, but man, I mean Hailie Deegan can drive. She's a good racer. Danica Patrick, not a good racer. Natalie Decker, not a good racer. Other than that, I'm going to stop the rant right here. You guys have a fantastic day. Don't get married to your money tomorrow. Enjoy tomorrow's festivities, whether you're watching the Monaco race, the Indy 500, whatever you're doing. Just enjoy tomorrow. Go have a beer. Go do something. Have some pizza. And just watch racing all day. You guys have a fantastic day. Thank you for listening.